Have you ever felt like life is just this rigid, pre-programmed video game that you are somehow forced to play?
Oh yeah, like you wake up, dodge the exact same obstacles, grind for XP, and just, hope the final boss is a Monday morning.
Right. But today, our deep dive is pulling from a bunch of sources, quantum physics theories, the philosophy of Neville Goddard, and even modern psychology to ask a pretty radical question. What if you actually have developer access to your own life?
Yeah, we're looking at a stack of sources that basically suggest reality isn't happening to you, it's responding to you. And our mission today is to distill the core mechanics of this game so you can stop passively reacting and start actively writing the code.
Exactly. So to get developer access, we first have to understand the code itself. And all the sources point to this idea that reality is, well, it's highly malleable, it's not a fixed environment at all.
No, not at all. They point to quantum mechanics, right?
Yeah.
This idea that particles exist as mere probabilities until they're actively observed.
Which essentially means you are both the player and the programmer.
Right, because the observation itself collapses that probability into a physical actuality. Author Vadim Zeland actually calls this concept reality transurfing.
Oh, right, the radio dial analogy.
Exactly. The mechanic isn't that you're physically moving objects around with your mind. It's more like your mindset acts as a radio dial. Your focus and your energy tune you into a parallel lifeline or a rendering of the world where that desired outcome already exists.
Okay, so visualization is literally writing the code for your desired experience.
Yes, exactly.
But wait, if every single thought is an instruction to the universe, aren't our autopilot thoughts, like the constant fear and doubt, essentially running malware in our reality?
Well, what's fascinating here is that it's actually worse than malware.
Wait, really? How?
It's like you're actively typing in a command to delete your own progress every single time you doubt yourself. Passive observation allows that negative background process to just run completely unchecked.
Wow.
Yeah, deliberate visualization is how you quarantine that doubt and compile a completely new path.
But here's the trap. If visualization writes the code, why doesn't it work when people desperately obsess over getting what they want? The sources talk a lot about the necessity of letting go and using the subconscious mind.
Right.
Joseph Murphy originally compared the subconscious to a fertile garden, but sticking with our tech analogy, is the subconscious more like an open terminal?
That is a perfect way to look at it, especially right before you fall asleep. Your mental firewall is basically down.
Ah, makes sense.
Your conscious mind isn't there to just reject the new programming. So that's the optimal time to input your core commands using really strong emotion. Yeah. But then, you have to actually let the code execute.
Okay, I have to push back on that execution phase, though. Here's where it gets really interesting. Isn't it entirely counterintuitive to set a massive specific goal and then just completely let go of the timeline?
It sounds counterintuitive, sure.
Like if I write a new program, I want to stare at the console to make sure it's actually compiling. How do you just ignore it?
Well, if we connect this to the bigger picture, when you frantically check the timeline, your brain is actively processing the reality of not having it yet.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, you are fundamentally programming lack into your open terminal, which completely overrides your original goal. Letting go is the vital balance between, taking inspired action and trusting the underlying process.
So you have to let the code compile in the background without constantly hitting refresh and interrupting the system.
Exactly. You can't keep interrupting the system.
Okay, so you input the code when the firewall is down, you step back, and you let it compile. The final step the sources highlight is how you physically show up in the game today.
Right. Embodying the win.
Yeah. Neville Goddard and the law of assumption argue you must embody the reality now. Dress, speak, and act like you already have that promotion you're after.
But so what does this all mean? Is this just a philosophical rebrand of the old fake it till you make it cliche? No, actually, the distinction is crucial. Faking implies deception, right? Like you're acting like something you inherently believe you're not. Embodying the win is about resonance.
Resonance?
Yeah, which actually ties directly to your brain's reticular activating system. By aligning your current physiological and mental state with your goal, you train your brain to filter reality and spot the exact opportunities that match that state.
Oh, wow. So you aren't tricking the hardware, you're just providing the correct input so it can return the corresponding output.
Exactly.
So wrapping this all up, reality is completely malleable. You are the active creator, tuning the radio dial. You have to input your goals when your mental firewall is down, trust the background compiler without obsessing over the timeline, and actively embody the person who has already won today.
It all comes down to the fact that you hold the controller. The code is yours to write.
Which leaves us with this final thought. If our reality is constantly being shaped by our underlying assumptions, what deeply held assumption about yourself did you unknowingly inherit from someone else? And how would your reality shift if you deleted that malware today and started writing your own code?